to Fort Hall. I'm in Fort Hall 326, which is the room that we typically teach Chem 224 lab in. And some of you might be familiar with this space because you might have taken Chem 111 lab here way back when. So I am making a QuickTime video to demonstrate our coffee cup calorimeter experiment. And the way this video is set up, you will see the webcam so that you can see me do the procedure, but I'm also using it to screen capture the software that I'm using, so you'll have a good sense of how the data was acquired. All right, so let me walk you through some of the materials I have here for the experiment. So I have a magnetic stir plate. I have a little magnetic stir rod. I have our calorimeter, which is just a fancy way of saying these are our nested coffee cups, styrofoam coffee cups. So there's two of them sitting one inside another, just to provide some extra insulation. And I have my wireless temperature probe. So this particular model is made by Pasco. I also have a graduated cylinder with 100 mils of RO water, as well as pre-weighed 2 grams of one of the salts. This is ammonium nitrate here that I'm using for the demo. All right, to get started, I'm going to turn on the temperature probe using the power button. And once it's turned on, I'm going to find the program SparkView on the computer. I'm sort of going to minimize the windows so that they can both exist on the screen. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and connect this sensor to the program. And when it's turned on and within Bluetooth connection range of the computer, it should pop up as a choice, as you can see on the screen here. And when there's multiple probes being used in the room, you have to be pretty careful to make sure that the number on the probe that you're using matches up with the one that you connect to. But since I'm the only one in here, that is not an issue. All right, so there are some pre-designed experiment templates there, but I'm going to build my own. So I'll click on Build New Experiment. And I want a graph displaying the data as well as a smaller table. So I'll choose this template layout. And for the measurement, I will tell it that I want it to monitor temperature. Even though I've connected the probe, sometimes you can have multiple probes connected, so you have to still tell the software what you're looking for. And then I'm going to open up a table to also record the same temperature data over time. Great. Okay, so to start the experiment, I'm going to put my 100 mils of water into my coffee cup calorimeter. And drop the little magnetic stirrer in there and make sure that the stir rate is adequate. So this will help the salt dissolve a little more uniformly in solution. All right, so before I'm ready to add my salt, I want to put my probe in here and start acquiring some of the initial temperature data. So I want to get a sense of what our baseline temperature is, and just what room temperature looks like in lab. So I'm going to hit start. And I usually look at the screen for a couple minutes, maybe even less. You can see that the temperature is being recorded, every little blue dot, pretty frequently, and it looks nice and stable. So it looks like we are ready to go ahead and add our salt. So you've done your pre-lab calculations on ammonium nitrate. So before I add this to the coffee cup, you might have a prediction for what you're expecting to see happen. So you might look at your pre-lab for that prediction now. But I'm going to add this in a quick, swift pour, just so that there isn't a lengthy time of addition. And just check to see that the mixing looks good in there, and you can see the data is popping right up on the screen. So you're seeing an endothermic reaction, so the temperature is decreasing really nicely. It's not instantaneous, but it's pretty rapid. And as the reaction finishes, so as the salt is mostly dissolved in there, you'll see that it starts to level off, and eventually it will even start to equilibrate back to room temperature, so you'll know that the reaction is done. So I'm going to actually stop the video here. I'm not going to demo all of the 6 salts, but we'll collect the data. And what we're looking for in the data is what the initial temperature is, as well as what the final temperature would be that we're achieving with each of the reactions. And we'll put that into a table for you so you can do your calculations based on those numbers. Great, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the data collection now. And hopefully this gave you a sense of how the data that you are going to work with was